Welcome to Ochaun Mathis in 5 plays. If you're not familiar with what I do in this series, I like to take a look at a prospect in a limited number of plays. And in those plays, in this case 5 plays, you're going to get a good idea of what type of player Ochaun Mathis is. So Ochaun Mathis, outside linebacker, defensive end for the Nebraska Cornhuskers, is going to be entering the 2023 NFL Draft. He was a highly touted transfer from TCU, had a season here at Nebraska. Now he's looking to go to the NFL Draft. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get into the tape. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about with Ochaun Mathis is him as a pass rusher. On this play against Wisconsin, he's lined up here at the top, towards the top of the screen, lined up outside shoulder of the right tackle, 5-7 technique, however you want to call it. Tough to tell from here. And one of the things that Mathis does is he's got good straight line burst. And so at the snap of this ball, he's going to push like he's going to rush on the outside or rush at the right tackle. But one of his strengths is that quick change of direction. He's able to put this right foot in, do a little bit of a swat and swim, and he's in a position right here. He's beaten that right tackle, and he's ready to come in. Now, he doesn't get there because the right guard's coming to clean him up, and he ends up getting kind of pushed past the pocket. But you see here, he's got that speed and that explosion, that straight line speed. He can just make that quick cut and burst. If that right guard wasn't there helping out, I mean, he had no one here. I think Nebraska's kind of running a little bit of a loop right here. But if this defensive tackle could have occupied this right tackle or right guard just a second longer, we're looking at Ochaun Mathis either getting a sack or forcing Wisconsin's quarterback to have to flee. Now, while I showed you Ochaun Mathis' ability to win with that quick move inside, the other thing we have to look at him as is that rushing to the outside. And this is a good example of this. Ochaun Mathis doesn't have a great pass rushing skill set. He doesn't use his hands well. He doesn't have that go-to move. He tries to win with his athleticism. Like we saw on that last clip, he used that quick move, a little bit of still uses his hands well, but he doesn't have that go-to move. So he usually either makes a quick move inside, or like here, he's going to go on the outside. So he's going to push deep. And the thing about him is he's an explosive, a bursty type guy, but he doesn't have that elite speed. And so it's more in that quick burst. So he's able to get a good burst off the line here. Okay, burst. But this right tackle against Rutgers is able to cut him off. And so he tries to go around the edge, and he kind of has the edge right here. But what Mathis struggles a bit is his ability to sink those hips and flatten down the line to get the quarterback. You know, a lot of your top guys would be able to sink those hips, use their ankle flexibility, and flatten down here to get to the quarterback. Instead, he ends up getting pushed deep and past the pocket. Now, what makes Mathis stand out a little bit is he has this motor and he keeps going, and he's able to eventually get that sack. And he's able to do that because he's got enough quickness, he's got enough agility, and he just keeps with it and uses that motor to his advantage to continue to keep working. And the quarterback didn't have anybody to throw to because Mathis's teammates were covering, and he's able to chase him down for the sack. All right, so I've kind of shown you a couple ways that Mathis wins as a pass rusher. Like I said, he relies a lot on his athleticism. And so because of that, Nebraska had to scheme to get him some pressures. And we could see teams do this as well. Line up here at the bottom of the screen. And Ochaun Mathis is effective on these loops, pushing up here and using that lateral agility to get to his side and then burst forward. And he's able to get a half sack here with his teammate. Now, his teammate was the one who, was the picker, in essence, Caleb Tanner. But Mathis, once again, you just see that athleticism, you see the burst, and those two working in tandem on this little stunt and loop, were able to get the sack. And you see, if we're watching Mathis's traits here, it's that ability, that quick. I mean, he's able to make this a quick cut, and his quickness and his lateral agility catch it, allows him to beat this right guard and get by him to force the quarterback into his teammate, and they team up to get the sack there. Now, if we transition to Ochaun Mathis as a run defender, that's where we start to see some concerns with him. He's not overly good at the point of attack. He gets pushed around a lot. Where he has success in the run game is like here against Northwestern. He's lined up down towards the bottom. He's going to go and engage with this right tackle, and he does well. I think he holds up better on the edge, setting that edge. Nebraska played him a little as the season progressed, more as like a 4-eye or in that B gap, and he struggled a little bit more there. But this is where he has his success. He's engaged, and he uses that swim move to get over, and he sees where the ball is, and then he just uses that lateral agility to make a quick burst to his right. I talked about that burst earlier. He's got those ability to make those quick bursts of movement, and he does that here. I mean, this play is going a gap really to his right, more than 2 gaps to his right, but he's able to put himself in position. He sees that it's an inside run. I mean, he's in a position here. If this running back decides to try and bounce it out, I think he's in a position at least, if not stop him, to at least force it out for his teammates to get there. But he's able to just go to his right and make that tackle. And that's where we see Ochaun Mathis at his best in the run game, is being able to free himself with his quickness and then make those moves to his sides to be able to make tackles. I mean, he doesn't miss many tackles. If he tends to get his hands on somebody, they're going down. And finally, the last thing I want to talk about, the fifth thing, is his motor. I showed you in that Rutgers clip where he was able to get the sack. He got pushed past the pocket but didn't stop. He kept going to get the sack. This play against Wisconsin, I think, really stands out. Here he is, top of the line. Here he is, lined up at the 5 technique, kind of splitting the tight end and the right tackle. And he's not going to win initially. He's going to try and go out and beat that right tackle around the edge. And he doesn't win. Some guys would just kind of stop there, but he just keeps working, and he goes and he gets mixed up with the guard, and he just keeps moving. And what you may not notice here is that movement. He's able to affect this pass. Okay, he gets stopped there, works back inside, the right guard's picking him up. Once again, he sees that this quarterback's coming out, so he stops and goes again. But as we watch here, he's right here. This quarterback kind of sees him right there, and he's able to affect this pass. That quarterback has to kind of put a little bit more touch on it. He didn't get to throw it when he did, and this I kind of cut it off too soon. But this guy, he catches it, but the Isaac Gifford comes over and is able to knock that ball free. And I think, I may be giving a little too much credit to Ochaun Mathis, but I think him being there in the quarterback's face, and he's doing that because of his motor, I think affects this ball, makes it have to be a floater, and allows his teammate to get over there to be able to make a hit to jar this ball loose. And Ochaun Mathis's motor was a big part of that. Now, there is a lot to like about Ochaun Mathis as a prospect, and I'm not going to sit here and say, he's going to be a mid-round. There's a good chance that Ochaun Mathis doesn't get drafted. I think he's got a shot to be a 6th or 7th round pick. I mean, here's a guy that's 6'5", 250 pounds. He's got long arms, big hands. He's got enough burst. He's got enough agility that a team might just say, hey, here's a guy that had 8 sacks a couple years ago. Maybe let's just take a flyer on him. Maybe we can put him in the right situation. He's a good fit, and they take a chance on him. I tend to think he's probably going to go undrafted just because he doesn't have, he's got good size and I'd say above average athleticism, but he doesn't have that production. I mean, he had 8 sacks in 2020. He had 2 sacks in 2021, both of those seasons with TCU. And then this past year with Nebraska, he only had 3.5 sacks and kind of got pushed around a lot. And so I think teams might just say, it's not worth drafting. But he's going to have a shot. He's going to be signed as an undrafted free agent. He's going to be invited to a camp, and he's going to have a chance to make an NFL team. And I think he's got enough skills. He's got the NFL size that I think he has a shot to stick with a team as a developmental player. I think that's where NFL teams are going to view him, as a developmental player, somebody who they can say, hey, this guy can help us in the future. Now, I think he's probably going to be a backup. His career ceiling is probably a rotational player. He's got the ability to play on the edge. We saw lots of that at the East-West Shrine game where he played. The coaches there put him inside, and he was able to get some pressures as an inside pass rusher. So I think he's got some versatility. I think he's going to be viewed as a pass rush guy only, but hey, the NFL is a pass rushing league, so that's kind of where I see him. So that's going to go ahead and do it for Ochaun Mathis in 5 plays. I hope you enjoyed this. The best way to get more videos like this is to subscribe, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications. While you're out there, follow me on social media. Draft_Brian is where you can find me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time.